Welcome back. I'm talking to Gary McKinnon about when he accessed NASA computer systems and found some very interesting information on there. I've given lectures, Gary, about the TR-3B, and in those lectures, this is an alleged secret aircraft, and in those lectures I've sort of put forward the case that it's not really NASA that's possibly designed that technology, that it's maybe some secret part of the Air Force and the NSA that is controlling the information. This comes from Edgar Fouché, whistleblower.
Right.
And that NASA are, or at least publicly, predominantly put on display rockets. I don't think there's anything more advanced propulsion-wise than a rocket. So, what are your feelings on that? The fact that you've been into a NASA establishment systems and you're finding non-terrestrial officers. So I'm putting the question: don't you think there would be somewhere else like the NSA?
Well, the non-terrestrial officers, I think, was on a Navy system.
Right.
Did I say that earlier? I think I did.
Oh, that wasn't in NASA.
No, that was on a Navy system.
Right, I see.
If I remember rightly, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the non-terrestrial officers spreadsheet, that wasn't in a NASA building, you don't think?
No.
All right. That was in a Navy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And in the actual ships as well. You mentioned there was names of ships. That was Navy as well.
Yeah.
So
the
that
spreadsheet.
Right. So that wasn't in a NASA folder in Building 8.
No.
Right.
No.
I see. All right. So that could explain the question that I've just asked there. So just to stay on this sidetrack, what are your feelings on the Apollo missions? Do you buy into the we never went to the moon, or do you have a strong position, or are you open-minded? What's your?
I think when you think about things like the Van Allen belts and the radiation, and the film on the cameras, the battery on the module, there's a lot of solid scientific reasons why it was impossible with the technology back then.
Right. All right. Well,
even the computer power back then makes me slightly suspect.
Right. All right. Well, you've answered that question. So you mentioned Donna Hare before, whose colleague was involved in airbrushing UFOs out of NASA images, and this allegedly took place in Building 8 at the Johnson Space Center.
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
So you accessed computer systems there. Tell me what you found.
Because Donna Hare had said it was Building 8. When you're in the command line interface and you type in netstat, Windows has a function where when you list all the machines on the network, there's a comment field, and NASA had used the comment field for standard computer audit information that said this isn't building blah, that this is the serial number, etc., etc. So finding Building 8 was surprisingly easy. And so then I scanned that subnet, so I think it was only 255 machines on the subnet for Building 8. And there they were. All these machines with blank administrator passwords. It was as if when they'd built the network, they'd used an image and blatted out the image to every machine, because every single machine had a blank administrator password. An administrator gives you full control, so it was ridiculous. In Building 8 at Johnson Space Center, I found out there were folders called raw and filtered, or processed and unprocessed, and these files were like 200 odd megabytes, 250 megabytes. They were in a proprietary NASA format, and this is in the days of 56k dial-up, so you couldn't download them in like 5 minutes. And I wanted to get on there, find out what I could, and get out quickly. And so I had remote control of the desktop using a program called Remotely Anywhere. And so if you double-clicked on an image, their proprietary software came up, and the image was there. But it wasn't there like that because it's a slow connection. I turned it down to, I think, 2-bit or 4-bit color. I can't remember if it was monochrome or just 4-bit color. And it started, juddering down the screen. I think Remotely Anywhere was a Java app at the time. And I only got to see about half or 2/3 of it or something. But it was a hemisphere of a planet, which I assume was Earth, because it was blue and it was cloudy. And but it was a classic cigar shape, with no seams, no rivets, no sort of workmanship on the outside. But it did have one sort of human-looking thing, which was the sort of geodesic domes that you see at Men with Hell. Above and below, to the left and the right, and one on its nose, and I assume, one on this side, and I assume one on the other side as well. So I mean, some people say that could have been man-made because of that geodesic dome feature. But the fact of it all flowed in. There was no, there's the tube, and there's a socket for the dome. You know, it was all a flowing. You know, but that's when I saw someone else. The mouse moved, right-clicked on the LAN icon, disconnect, and boom, I was gone.
When you saw that particular image, did that then lead to your arrest?
Yeah, because when they disconnected me, they obviously got my IP address because I was doing a direct connection foolishly at that time because I was getting lazy or cavalier. And it was NASA that contacted BT and about the IP address. Then you get the client's address through the police, UK police. So that's what got me caught.
Right. Yeah. So that then started. Well, how many years was the legal battle going on?
Nearly 11 years, from March 2002 till October 2012.
So the first you found out about it was you got a knock at the door.
Yeah.
So just explain what happened on that day.
Crikey. I'd stopped doing the hacking, if you can call it that, you know, blank password phishing. And I think I'd been playing this PC game called Galactic Civilizations all night till about 3 o'clock. So I'd only been asleep for a few hours. And next thing I know, there's someone saying, Gary McKinnon, and prodding me. And I woke up to find a detective, whatever he was, from the National High-Tech Crime Unit, saying you're under arrest for, well, I assume he said hacking into NASA. I can't really remember now.
Right, and so did they take you away from your home then?
No, the first thing they did was a massive search. They searched my girlfriend, they searched me, they searched the house, they took away the computers, not just the hard drives, they took away all the computers. I was fixing computers for people as well, they took away all of those. Yeah.
Right, so did they give you them back?
Oh yeah, after a long time. I got back my friends' machines and clients' machines that I was fixing, I got them back within a few months. But I only got my, they never gave me back my hard drives because they had evidence on them.
Right, so you never got them back?
No, because I didn't get time to get a copy of the image, but I got a copy of the non-terrestrial officer spreadsheet, which was on my hard drive, which was encrypted. But I stupidly told them the password. I just fessed up to everything when I got caught. Because they said, oh, you'll only get 6 months, or probably not even that, you'll get community service, you know, you'll be fine.
So that spreadsheet that we discussed earlier was on the hard drive that was confiscated from you, and you've never seen it again?
No, I'm still trying to get it back.
Right, so, which is why you can't remember the names, because you thought you had it stored on your hard drive, right? All right, so as you said, initially they said to you, oh, you'll get some community service or something like this. So why did that then turn into an extradition request and a threat for 60 or 70 years in prison? How did that progress from up the chain? Well,
what happened, the NHTCU officers went to Washington, and when they came back from Washington, they'd obviously been extremely impressed by talking to the top brass over there, who'd obviously said, it's a very serious case, he's a very dangerous man. Just like
this is the Americans said this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming, because the officers came back with a completely different attitude. No longer was it 6 months or community service, now it was a very serious thing. You know?
Right, so they arrested you, they were quite okay with you, confiscated your stuff, then they went out to America to speak to whoever, and then they've come back with a completely different attitude.
Yeah, and gave me a second interview.
Right.
And because I didn't have a lawyer present at my first interview, and I just admitted, because I knew it was all on the hard drive where it'd been, because I'd kept files and stuff, you know. So there was no point saying, no, I didn't do it. So I should have had a lawyer at first, and it might not have gone on for so long, who knows. But I had a lawyer at the second interview, and they were trying to get me on conspiracy, saying, oh, we saw some of your ICQ chat logs, and we think you may have been working with other people, which I wasn't. And I said, well, no. But I had chatted to people about what I was doing, but I didn't involve anyone else at all.
Right.
And it was then they started saying, well, it's very serious, you know, it could be a long jail term, the Americans, you know, really want you bad. There's a lot of pressure from Washington on Downing Street or whatever.
And were they trying to twist it and say that you'd actually caused damage, even though you were just maintaining a silent presence?
Well, this is the thing, there was, it wasn't until I actually saw the American charge sheet where they listed, you know, all the supposed damage. So I don't think the NHTCU mentioned damage to me at first, but they kept on calling it attacks and targets, and I said, can you please not use that language, because it wasn't an attack. I was in there and I was looking around, I wasn't attacking, I wasn't vandalising, you know.
But in order to get the extradition, do they not have to prove that you've done damage? Can they extradite you just based on the fact that you're looking at stuff.
This is the thing. They don't need any proof. They just need the accusation, and they need to get your name and address right, and they can take you over there.
Right.
As has happened to countless people since me.
Right.
So.
Right. All right. The Americans have come down quite heavy-handed, saying they want you extradited, and the British authorities are going along with that initially. Is that right?
Well, no, because the initial arrest was March 2002, and the full ratified extradition request didn't come through till 2005, because our laws, we didn't have this special UK-US extradition treaty in place. We were still going off the 1989 extradition treaty,
right,
which required good evidence for
right.
the accused offence. So we think they tactically waited. We think they may even have made this law, or certainly included my case in the formation of the law, because even some of the wording of the new treaty, and the spelling was American in this UK-US treaty. It was
right.
American spelling, ridiculous. So they waited until 2005, I think it was, to present it fully. And I'd got my first job in a few years, because I couldn't work in IT anymore, obviously, because everyone thought, oh, hands off for a while. And I got my forklift licence, was working in a warehouse. And I got a phone call from my lawyer at work, and she said they want to extradite you. You're going to stand trial in America. And that just flabbergasted me, absolutely flabbergasted me. I had journalists coming around to the warehouse where I was working. My landlord threw me out of my flat. And already the first time when I'd been arrested, I lost a lot. I lost my long-term girlfriend and the place I was living in, and here it was happening all again.
All right, and Gary, we'll continue this very fascinating discussion after this break.